Hello and welcome to the Spiritual Life Coach Podcast. I'm your host, Erica Haynes. On this podcast, we'll use spiritual truth and spiritual tools to lighten up your challenges. This podcast is for you if you feel like you're up and then you're down. Your ups cancel out your downs. You're up for 2 weeks of the month and then you're down for 2 weeks of the month. If you're constantly going back between emotional extremes or meaning extremes where everything's coming up daisies, everything's going to be great from now on, make hay while the sun is shining and it's never going to stop, versus I don't even want to be here, I don't know how I'm going to get through this, everything's gloomy, everything's mundane, everything's gray. If you're constantly going through those cycles and you find yourself very attached and also very averse to those two different experiences, this podcast will really help you. If you want to feel more balanced, but not just neutral, you want to feel good, you want to feel happy, you want to feel loved by your relations, you want to feel like what you're creating has value, you want to feel like opportunities are constantly being attracted to you, that you're not repelling them or sabotaging them in some way, then this episode is for you. If you find yourself repelling opportunities, if you find yourself really attached to certain outcomes in your life and doing everything you can to be in the right energy to create those outcomes, not really trusting in life that you will actually be supported and cared for. And you have highs and lows. You have these moments where everything seems like it's going for you and everything that you're perceiving, which means giving meaning to certain events, whether that's the astrological alignment of the season or the phase of the moon or just the way things seem to be going out in the world. Sometimes you're perceiving that everything's good and everything's going to work out for you and everything's going your way. And then suddenly you shift into, nope, nothing's going my way, everything's bad. And if you just kind of go back and forth between those two things, waiting to be back on the up and up and then enduring the lows. The lesson we're uncovering in today's podcast is that humans can't differentiate between perception and essence. What that means is to be human is to be so identified with the ego that everything is interpreted as either wanted or unwanted. It either means good things are going to happen or bad things are going to happen. It's either good for me or bad for me. It's either a yes or a no. It's either a yum or a yuck. And so to escape this grip of the ego that has you constantly oscillating between good and bad, and I'm up, I'm down, my life is great, my life sucks, the way to transcend that is to become aware of attraction and aversion and to walk the middle path between attraction and aversion, which is also to be in alignment and also to be in connection with our higher self. So it's many of these spiritual teachings and lessons that we understand on some level. It is one of the laws of the universe, I forget which one, that, we do have good and bad. We do have happy and sad. The Buddhists say because of nirvana, we know, or because of samsara, we know nirvana exists. Because I have sadness, I know happiness. If I only had happiness, I wouldn't know that I had happiness, right? But the spiritual path is really to have more peace and more happiness and more balance and to be less connected with the ego. And it is the ego that does all this perceiving. So the ego is the one that's, and people say humans are meaning-making machines. So it's us that needs to give meaning, good or bad, to everything. So if you want to walk a more peaceful, balanced path and you want to get away from these highs and lows, then you want to stop being so attracted to what you're attracted to, and you want to stop avoiding what you're avoiding so much. The lesson for today is mind your attractions and your aversions, and can you dig a little deeper into how you love to spend your energy, what kinds of things just suck you right in and engage you, whether it's a relationship or a certain aspect of your work. And when you become aware that there is something you're avoiding, a task, an item on your list, a communication, can you not avoid it? And can you take the time to align and be on the middle path and be in balance? It's a practice of more balance, more expansion, a higher energy, more congruence, more peace, more unconditional love, more receptivity, more happiness, more stability, and more safety. What I'm looking at in my life is, what am I avoiding? To stay in the flow and the middle path of life, there are things that don't need immediate attention, that want immediate attention and really suck me in. And I have to understand why that's happening. What am I avoiding in order to be engaged in those things? What am I believing I'm going to get out of those things that I want? And then there's being aware of when you get into the zone of avoiding something. Because I don't give everything my immediate attention, but when I start to actually push something away, then I have to decide, is it just something that I shouldn't look at because I don't want to project upon this thing negatively? So maybe avoidance in that case is the best choice for me because it's not time for it, because I'm projecting on it a certain way. And it may be just that it's not time for it, but it is time for it if I know that I'm avoiding it. And I don't want to get to the point of avoiding it. I'm not going to give everything my immediate attention, but when it goes into the zone of avoidance, I know that it's time for me to pay attention to something. And that could be a really good example. That could be falling in love really deeply and really obsessing over a guy. You prefer to put your energy into your feelings of him, and what you're doing is you're avoiding your feelings of maybe not enoughness or discontent or malaise or mundanity in yourself. The way that I flow through my days and I flow through my life is that I don't give my immediate attention to everything that needs my immediate attention, because that would be chaos. That would be me being at the effect of the world. That would be me getting, on social media or getting on my phone immediately during the day and just being at the effect of the entire world. I don't want to live that way. But when I notice that I'm getting to the point of pushing something away or avoiding it or not wanting to, just say pushing something away or avoiding it, that's when I make sure that I pay attention to it. So you don't want to take your flow and your middle path self-directed energy and your alignment to the extent of avoidance. And you'll notice when you're getting to the point of avoidance with something, and that's when you want to make sure that you pay attention to it, because we want to avoid the aversion and we want to avoid the attraction. So, avoid's a bad word in that case, but we want to walk the middle line between aversion and attraction to be less identified with the ego, which means to be more at peace, to be more free, and to be more in connection with the divine and the expanded state where everything that we're wanting is able to be attracted to us and we're able to receive it. You can join my texting chain by texting me at 707-733-6434, love in all caps. All right. Love you. Have a great day. Bye.